Hello. David Carrington, one of the church wardens for St John the Evangelist Church in Slimbridge, has been championing the cause to enable a Friends of Slimbridge Church community to be established. My name is David Hunt, and I would like to tell you about this exciting project. In this short presentation, I would like to tell you a little bit about what the project is about, why the church is important, why the church needs your help, and just exactly how you can help. The Parochial Church Council, or PCC, would like to encourage a group to be formed to be known as Friends of St John the Evangelist Church, Slimbridge, or more likely for short, Friends of Slimbridge Church. It is known locally as the Cathedral in the Vale and has many beautiful features, as you can see here. So why is the church important? Well, St John's Church is a local landmark. Many people come to live in this Cotswold village because it is a lovely place to live. The beautiful church with its attractive church spire can be seen for miles around. A reassuring sign that we are almost home when we have been away. Can you really imagine Slimbridge without St John's Church on the skyline? It is also the only place where you can get a good view of the whole parish. Even many locals who are not churchgoers or even believers in God still find it reassuring to have the church watch over them. The church is such a majestic building that marks the entrance to the village of Slimbridge. It is much loved by so many of us, even those who rarely, if ever, set foot inside it. But it's our majestic local landmark, and it needs your help. There are apparently more than 500 places of worship in Gloucestershire alone. You can see a small selection of them here. The great John Betjeman describes them as triumphs in stone. Yet their very existence is threatened by the ravages of time. In the case of our own lovely church, some 862 years of being ravaged and attacked by the elements. The building is something we inherited as a community. Therefore, we believe it should be looked after by the community, which generations have shared in the worship, been baptized, married, and paid tribute to their loved ones who may have sadly now passed on. Many have cared for this building on their watch, and we feel it should be handed on in good order to future generations. It is up to us now to help in some tangible way to secure the building for our children and grandchildren in like manner. Nowadays, the PCC is represented by a smaller proportion of the community, and generally is of an age that finds it increasingly difficult to raise the necessary energy to continue raising funds required to keep this building in good repair. Several initiatives were undertaken last year, but the support from the community was poor, leaving it to the faithful few to keep things going. Therefore, it has become increasingly paramount that we identify more reliable means of maintaining this beautiful Grade 1 listed church as we continue on into this millennium. The Gloucestershire Historic Churches Trust is a charity which raises funds to help places of Christian worship of all denominations with repairs and improvements to the fabric of the buildings and their contents, as well as to their surrounding churchyards. The Trust aims to help keep the 500 plus churches and chapels in the county alive, not only as places of worship and active centres of community life, but also as buildings which make a huge impact on the landscape of Gloucestershire and help us to draw visitors to the county. St John's Church in Slimbridge is just one of these churches, but it is mainly up to us to keep it in good repair, as the Trust cannot be expected to save every church in the county. Besides, they can only consider a grant, not the whole cost of ongoing repairs. For some reason, the general opinion seems to be that the church is a wealthy organisation and can well afford to look after itself. We can assure you this is not the case. Any works that are carried out are financed purely from local donations, various fundraising initiatives and the occasional legacy or bequest. No matter how hard our small group work, we just about keep up with paying the electricity bill and other outgoings including parish share, insurance premiums and such like, just as many householders have to do to keep their own home going. We've just spent some £15,000 on re-roofing the chancel. However, but for a very generous donation of £11,000, this urgent work could not have been undertaken. Despite all the efforts we could muster in the many jumble sales, bring and buy, and all the other usual things we regularly do to raise funds, we only just managed to raise less than a quarter of the total cost by our own effort. Other works have had to be undertaken by keen volunteers, for example drainage works to the boiler house, where, due to constant flooding, essential relief work was needed to avoid further power cuts and some consequent lack of heating, which is so important, especially at the coldest time of the year. We've also undertaken other work with the help of volunteers, but we know there are some other works yet to be done which are beyond the scope of the average volunteer. These will require professional contractors. Many such work will need to be overseen by the appointed architect, as they have to comply with accredited standards because of the church's Grade 1 listed status. Your church building needs you if it is going to be available for future generations. Now, the PCC has not been sitting on our hands. Since the millennium year 2000, we have managed to raise funds for many essential works, including those you can see here. These have totalled in excess of £34,000. All this money is in addition to finding our contributions for our parish share and meeting all the utility bills as they come in. The parish share amounts to over £1,200 a month. Other incidental expenses amount to nearly £300 a month, making a total commitment of finding nearly £20,000 a year. Now, the parish share is our share towards employers' costs paid to the diocese by every church to help maintain our incumbent and associate priests and the benefice. In essence, what we are saying is, unless a ballpark figure of £21,000 a year, £1,750 a month, is raised, we shall gradually, year on year, fall short of our target. So this is why we so desperately need your help. As a small committee, we simply cannot go on as we are, and we have an ageing congregation, an ever smaller group of volunteers trying to raise the funds, and everything just gets more expensive each year. Our weekly collection plate amounts to only about £20 each week, so we have our work cut out just to meet our day-to-day running costs. That is why we need a separate group of volunteers, the Friends of Slimbridge Church, to focus on raising funds to preserve the very fabric of the building, which is literally crumbling before our eyes. Here are just a few examples of what needs doing. The west oak door needs to be completely refurbished. The stone wall alongside the main entrance pathway has moved considerably. This was due to the amount of rain we had earlier in the year, and because the earth behind it would have been so waterlogged, the wall just started to slide. This needs completely rebuilding, with weak drainage pipes inserting near the bottom of the wall as it is reconstructed. The main entrance doors have several problems. Apart from being of outstanding historical interest, they are gradually falling apart. On closer inspection, it is not difficult to see what needs doing. They are constructed of oak timber and are hundreds of years old. The exact age could not be determined exactly, but they go back at least to the Civil War. Repairs have been carried out over the years, and on the inside it can be seen how they have had work done on them that is not to a very high standard. However, they are enormously heavy, and the stonework mullions are cracking now quite badly, So there are several issues here and not one that has as yet been properly addressed. But there is an even more serious threat to the very fabric of the inside of the church. Listen carefully. That is the sound of woodworm eating away at the key parts of the church, even whilst you're watching this video. Now we simply cannot carry on as we are. The PCC will continue to assume responsibility for raising the necessary funding, the £21,000 per year, to meet the ongoing day-to-day running costs of the church. But there is in excess of £100,000 of work that has already been identified as needing doing. This is needed in excess of the day-to-day running costs that form part of that £21,000. So this is why we need a separate group of people, the Friends of Slimbridge Church, who will focus on raising the necessary funds to maintain the very fabric of the church. Now, whilst that may seem like an insurmountable mountain to climb, where there is a will, there's a way. Volunteers with skills can save money. The internal walls were in need of major replastering, but over recent weeks the church wardens took on this work themselves. If you have particular skills, maybe you could offer up your services too. We've been encouraged by talking with the Reverend Rob, the Vicar of Coley and Lower Cam churches, by the fact that since forming their Friends of Coley Church back in 1996, they have raised funds in excess of £120,000. They're now targeting to raise a further £20,000 to install an up-to-date flush toilet inside the church, something we would also like to provide, especially for Slimbridge school children who are now coming to use the church more frequently. On a recent visit, the teachers had to set up organised trips to the village hall, class by class, in order to have control of the situation when their children needed to visit the toilet. So we invite you to support and join those who are interested in keeping this wonderful Grade 1 listed building in good order. Should you decide to join the Friends of St John's Church in Slimbridge, you will be in company with other like-minded enthusiastic people wanting to see our church maintained in good condition. Rewards for such an undertaking will surely be, as a minimum, the satisfaction of keeping up in good order part of the village's heritage for the benefits of future generations to enjoy, to use for weddings, funerals, concerts, exhibitions and other community events. Notwithstanding our main mission to raise much needed funds for the church, we hope that a social side of membership will develop too, so people will have fun being members of the Friends of Slimbridge Church group. So what are you waiting for? Volunteer now. Contact for further information any of the people whose names and contact details you can see displayed on the screen right now. Either phone or use email if you feel more comfortable using that medium. But don't delay, do it now. We need your help and we need it now. Thank you for watching this video.